It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin become younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome. Good evening and welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave and the star of the show, which is called X39. What we do on our call is we do a very short presentation. I'm your co-host, Robin Blank-Mascari, along with my partner, Gregory. And then he will do a short presentation about the history of the company, a little bit about the technology and the founder. And then we bring on our special guest. And this evening we have Dr. Barbara Jennings. We love our practitioners. And after Barbara comes on, she's going to talk for a while, and then it's your turn. So if you have questions or stories to share, please put them in the chat. So now it's my chance to introduce and turn things over to you, darling. Gregory, you're on. I see a screen. I don't hear you. You're on mute, honey.
Okay, thank you very much. And we're going to go ahead and get started and talking about activating your stem cells, which is a very hot topic. And so, but before we jump into that, I just want to share a personal wake up I had a few years ago. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger. And I bet you some of you can relate to that. Getting old is not such a cool thing. And here's a question for you. Bring it on home. If anything were possible, what's one thing you'd choose to experience differently in your health or in the health of someone you love and care for? And if that were to change, what difference would that make for you or them? Okay, and before we jump into our presentation, just want to mention our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. They do, however, help our bodies get into a more regenerative mode, and wonderful things can then begin to happen. So welcome to the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And we found that stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps to repair and regenerate all damaged cells in everywhere throughout our body. Our muscles, bones, organs, glands, everywhere. Stem cells are the key to longevity. Now, here's the problem. And the sad news is the older we get, the less stem cells we have. And by age 60, only a small percentage remains. And you know what? The fewer stem cells, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And that's why a young lad falls down, skins his knee, and 3 days later, the scab comes off. And grandma falls down, skins her knee, breaks her hip, and she'll be lucky to ever get out of the hospital. So stem cells are the key to longevity and health. Now, what about stem cell injections? Because they're quite popular, but you know what? They're also quite expensive. They can be painful, risky, controversial, no guaranteed results. You could spend tens of thousands of dollars and not get the results you're after. Well, we're here tonight to share some really good news, because you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with a historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's drug-free. It's a patented form of phototherapy that uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity. Now, this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt. And David is not only a brilliant scientist and researcher, David's a genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings. and he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. Now, David's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our LifeWave phototherapy products, and many more studies are always in the works. So let's talk a little bit about the company of LifeWave, and it's an 18-year-old advanced technology company focused in the field of health sciences. It was founded back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology David developed for Navy SEALs to help them increase their strength, their stamina, and performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. And it turned out to be so effective, it's now used by world athletes around the world. And we now have corporate headquarters, laboratory, and manufacturing diversified between California, Utah, and Ireland. And I'm proud to tell you that we have global distribution to over 75 countries from our 15 global distribution centers. Now, as I said, the word is getting out, and LifeWave patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. The media has begun to notice, and you know what? You might too, if you look careful at your favorite athletes, and that can include Olympians, and you'll see these auspicious little patches on their bodies, and those are LifeWave patches. So how does this amazing technology work? Well, let's talk about it a little bit. It's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. That's kind of a mouthful, but simply put, LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when they're applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat, and they then begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in our body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the scientific foundation of our LifeWave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause specific changes within the body. For example, we all know when we go out in the sun, a specific frequency of light causes our body to make vitamin D. We don't get a vitamin D download from the sun. We get a light frequency download, and our body responds by manufacturing vitamin D. Likewise, another frequency of sunlight, UV, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same well-recognized scientific principle. Now, for the last 14 years, our focus has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And just a few years ago, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch. And this truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation. Some are calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, because we're actually doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies in big pharma have not been able to do. And that is X39 actually activates a very specific copper peptide in our body that activates our body's own stem cells. And this same technology and the same copper peptide also alters gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. So it truly is a game changer, and X39 activates our stem cells is a breakthrough that our inventor, founder, and CEO David Schmidt says, my greatest accomplishment yet, with an emphasis on yet, because David spends more time in the laboratory than he does in any office. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. And yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very, very exciting news. So that's my part of our presentation tonight, darling. And I'm going to turn the rest of the webinar back over to you and Dr. Barbara Jennings.
Thank you. That was wonderful. As always, what a good time of year, the beginning of the year to get younger, huh? So it is my pleasure, because every week we have one of our practitioners, and we have amazing practitioners that have been brought to LifeWave for many reasons, but they're drawn by the science, but more importantly, it enhances the clinical outcome. So this evening, we get to welcome Dr. Barbara Jennings. She is a chiropractor out of Fort Collins, Colorado. She does telemedicine practice and and she sees patients out of her office. She is an expert in detoxification. We're going to hear a little bit about that tonight. It's a good thing to start the year off that way. She has she's a consummate student. She's always learning, always filling up her tool chest with more tools. And LifeWave is one of those. And we're thrilled to have her. She started as a classical pianist, had a very serious illness and had a natural practitioner help her. And she decided to help other people. And we are so grateful, Dr. Barbara. You have been an amazing teacher for me and a gift to our entire community. So welcome and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, it is that time. This is our very first call of the year. Amazing. Okay, well, let's jump in. So you started with LifeWave several years ago. What, really inspired you to dig deeper, to be open to it, to want to, start sharing it with some of your patients?
Well, first it was the fact that after trying it myself first, I felt better within 5 days. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So in 5 days, I had a noticeable effect where I felt better and I was sleeping better. So I knew something was happening. It was working. And then I offered it to a few patients, and within a month, they both 3 of them had miraculous results, actually, really amazing results. And then just realizing that it was the most affordable way that I could offer stem cell therapy to my patients. And not only is it much more affordable, but much safer and with a higher success rate than the other options out there.
How wonderful is that? It's safer, it's effective, it's affordable, it's natural, and nothing even goes in the body. And so,
Yeah.
and more importantly, people are having, like you said, miraculous.
And it
experience.
works. Yeah.
It works. We love that part. Yeah, that's what happened to me, and I couldn't not share. So jumping in and talking about the star of the show. Well, I don't know. Do you want to share a story before we jump in of something recent or a favorite story of some results you've seen with one of your patients or family members?
Sure. So my brother-in-law recently had a rotator cuff surgery. And I had told him about my husband's shoulder injury and what we did for that. Actually, my husband told him, it's his brother. And, I've told that several times, so I won't tell it again here, but so he wanted to try it. We gave him X39 and glutathione, and his recovery was much faster. His orthopedic doctor was really impressed, and every checkup just kept saying, wow, this is going really well. You're recovering really fast.
We love that. That is a consistent story we hear from healthcare practitioners post-op of any kind of procedure or healing from an accident, or people go, you healed so fast. And when people are in their 70s and 80s, they're still healing fast. So it's really, that's wonderful that we can help our loved ones.
It's a very consistent story. And, it would be easy actually to start to take those for take those for granted and stop realizing that's really helpful and really amazing and really good because we hear it so often. But for those people recovering from their surgery, for their wound or an accident, it's a huge deal.
It's and I love that you said it is something that is recurring. It's consistent, and we do get consistent results. So this amazing patch called X39, who is it for and who isn't it for?
It's for just about everybody. it's a very short list who it's not for. So unless you're actively undergoing chemotherapy treatment, you can use it before, you want to use it after, just not during. And then number 2, for if you've had an organ transplant, because it does support the immune system. So for those people who need to suppress their immune system because of an organ transplant, it's not recommended for them. And if that's not you, then it's great for you.
Okay, so it's really safe for almost everybody.
Yes.
Yes. How wonderful. And how long before people can expect to notice something, anything?
Yes. Well, I said I notice a difference after 5 days. Some people notice feeling better, more energy, less pain in less time than that. Many people take more time, in fact, possibly much more time. And so it's a really wide range of normal. And I tell people anywhere between 1 day and 3 to 4 months. And so it's a huge range, but what we can know is that it's working. There's just a couple things you need to make sure are in place in your body, and it will work. Whether you feel it right away or not, it's still going to work.
Okay, so it gets close to the body, it's working. It may take some time to notice. You may notice it like that. And we never know, do we?
Right.
We don't know, but we know that it's
I
always...
cannot predict. Yeah, I can't predict. I put these patches on people who were in a lot of pain, different kinds of pain. And some people, in a very short time feel less pain. And some people, say, I don't really even feel anything. I was like, that's okay. It's still working. It's working on whatever your body feels is the most important thing right now.
Okay.
And eventually you're going to feel it.
Okay.
You'll notice.
And how long, Dr. Barber, do you recommend people, give this a try? I mean, things didn't change in our bodies overnight, but we do like instant gratification. How long do you recommend your patients to get on the patches and stay consistently on them?
Well, I ask people to use them for at least 3 months. At least 3 months. And, almost everybody's going to have a noticeable benefit by 3 months, but I've seen a couple who took a little bit longer. So I urge people to not feel discouraged about that. Trust their body. Trust that your body is going to use those in its own order of urgency and importance. And that urgency and importance may or may not be your bad shoulder that you want it to go to work on right away.
So those stem cells are really smart, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They know what's most important. They go to what is most life-threatening first. And it may not be your shoulder, even though you want it to be. Okay.
That's right.
So I can relate to that one, unfortunately. So what are the ideal conditions for people to get the maximum benefit of the usage of this technology?
Yeah, so those 2 things are, number 1, you want your body to be well hydrated. So you want to drink plenty of water, about, rule of thumb, about half your body weight in ounces. And in order to absorb that water into your cells where it's needed, you need to have minerals or electrolytes. So the best source of those are, fresh and raw fruits and vegetables. If you don't eat lots and lots of those, then you can take a supplement for those.
Okay.
And you need enough copper. You have to have enough copper in your body because copper is what the patch activates first to create a copper peptide. And after that peptide has been created and is elevated, that is what triggers our stem cell activation.
Okay. So consistency, water, minerals, and how
Copper.
often copper, and how often do they wear it?
Every day. I mean, most of the patches can be worn every day. There's some that are maybe for special occasions like ice wave for pain. You don't need it if you're not in pain. And maybe you're not in pain every day. But X39, you would get the best results for sure if you wear it for 12 hours a day.
Okay, 12 hours a day. And then what? Take it off?
Then you take it off for 12 hours.
Okay.
And then the next day you start again. So half the day on, half the day off, and that will prevent your body from adapting to it because this is only light, right? It's not a drug. It's not an acupuncture needle. It is just light shining, reflecting into your skin. And if it's constant all the time, your body will start to adapt to that or ignore it, and the patches may become less effective. So you always want to have at least a 12-hour break in between using the same patch again.
Okay, great. And are there any negative side effects or things that we should prepare people for?
No, there are no negative side effects. However, some of the side effects may seem unpleasant.
That was very well done.
Right. So when, if there's, for example, a sore knee, right, there's been some damage, there's a lot of inflammation. When your body has access to more new stem cells, then it may send those to the knee to replace the old ones. And as the old ones are replaced, they don't disappear, they actually are removed and they're sloughed off into your knee joint. And that extra stuff in there doesn't feel very good. So it can make the knee seem like it's getting worse for a short period of time, right? This could happen anywhere in the body. It usually is in the joints, in my experience. But if you understand that that's what's happening and it doesn't last very long, could be a day, a couple of days. I don't know anybody who's had an increase of pain for longer than a week. But I say it's not negative because it means it's working.
So when people say, this doesn't feel good, oh, good, it's working.
Yes. Now, if it really doesn't feel good, then you can take the patch off. You don't have to wear it a full 12 hours. You can wear it 6 hours. You can wear it 2 hours. You don't have to dive into a full 12 hours and that rate of healing and repair. You can slow it down.
Okay. So if it's too much, different than ingesting something that you can't take out, if that adaptation of regenerating and sloughing off those cells is a little more than people want, you just take the patch off for a period of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Just it'll go slower. You'll have a slower results. But, if it's a really sore knee, then maybe it's fine to go slower. It's up to you.
Okay, good. Anything else you want to say before we open things up for stories and questions?
Well, there's a ton I could say, but maybe we should just go to questions.
Okay. So, for those
I can think of about 3 hours worth of stuff to say.
This has changed your practice, hasn't it?
It has. Yes, the ice wave patches especially have been a game changer because so often it makes the difference between whether I can even put hands on a patient and adjust them or not.
Yeah. I know some people are afraid to go to the chiropractor because they hurt too much, and they don't want to go even though they need to go. And sometimes I've heard some chiropractors put on the Eon patch to get the body to calm down and balance out the nervous system so they can receive the work. So it's lots of different ways to use the patches. Okay, so let's open things up. A little reminder, we only talk symptoms if you're sharing a story or a question. If you name a disease, I won't read it. So for those of you that have named diseases, please change your request, and then I'll come back to you because I see a few of those. Okay. So let's see. Rainey, I have a gentleman in his 40s in which the spaces in his spine have narrowed and create pressure on his spinal cord and nerves and nerve roots. Can X39 help? And do you have any other suggestions? Thank you, Dr. Jennings.
X39 can always help. That specific problem, I would really focus on reducing inflammation, strengthening core muscles, getting adjusted regularly would be very important. Stem cells, more stem cells by themselves probably are not going to fix that all by itself. Can it help? Yes, but it really needs to be a multifaceted approach.
Okay. Would some kind of traction be helpful? Like a backswing or something that open things up?
Maybe. It probably depends if there are bone spurs or fusions.
Right. Okay. All right. So this is from Rose. Good morning, Doc. So Rose must be in some other place. Like we've
Somewhere
got a
else.
bunch of, and I want to welcome all you Filipinos. We have a whole bunch of people from the Philippines on. It's this evening in North America, but it's morning over there. My friend has a lump in her breast and a vascular disease. Which patch would you recommend to her? And Happy New Year to all. Thank you, Rose.
I would recommend Eon and glutathione. And I would put those on or near the lump. You might want to use more than one of each on some of the master points, back of the neck, under the navel. But you could use, I would do those two for sure. X39 is always a good one. So
Great.
those three can really just benefit a multitude of problems.
Wonderful. It's like X39 for everything, and then you can add some other things.
Mhm.
Okay, Jody, I have a disorder and have been issuing X30, probably X39. It has helped with my bouncing something legs. Is there anything else that I can use to help? I'm not exactly sure. That was an autoimmune disorder. Didn't name it. That's
Autoimmune and bouncy legs, wiggly legs. I would do the same. I would use X39, glutathione, and Eon, and I would place the glutathione and Eon down the center of the sacrum or the lower spine. The nerves down the legs branch out, right, around the lumbar spine and sacrum. So as far as patches go, that's what I would do.
okay. And I noticed that you and all the other practitioners kind of do the same thing. X39, Eon, and glutathione. Isn't that amazing?
Mhm. Well, as I said, a multitude of problems.
Yes.
Well, because Eon and glutathione reduce inflammation, they attack inflammation from two different mechanisms, two different ways, right? Glutathione is an antioxidant. It's the master antioxidant of your body. And so that having enough glutathione can help your body keep inflammatory triggers and inflammation in check. Eon is a balancer. It modulates. Anytime we use the word modulate, we mean balance. If something's too low or tired, it builds it up or will lift it up. If something's too high, it brings it down to a state of balance. So Eon is going to address inflammation via immune system and glutathione via free radical neutralizing.
Synergy at its finest.
Yes. So those two are powerful at reducing inflammation in all of its forms.
Wonderful, wonderful. And inflammation being the root source of many of our challenges, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Barbara is asking, my friend is having pain and numbness in her hand, wrist, and fingers, resulting in problems picking things up and holding on to them. What can I suggest to her?
Rinse and repeat. Glutathione, Eon, and X39.
Does the placement matter?
It may, yeah. So I would probably try the Eon and the glutathione on different places of the hand. You know, often this joint is a really bad one. So I would put it here. You can put them, you know, anywhere. You can wrap them around a finger, around a bad joint, and put one of every finger if you want. But with that condition, also I would address diet, because there's probably some dietary changes that would help to make as well.
So if you're going to suggest people, here we are in the new year, what kind of dietary changes would be a really smart thing for most people to embrace for their maximum health in this new year?
Oh, well, we've always reducing sugar, always. Cut out sugar, and then some people, especially with those inflammatory conditions, you have to look at dairy and gluten or any grains that have glyphosate or Roundup sprayed on them. Those are highly inflammatory foods. So those are the big three that I would start with. And in general, eat way more organic vegetables and fruits.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Ellie says, I have a friend who has severe dry eyes, very expensive meds that she's using. Is there anything else we can do to support her with the patches?
There's different reasons that could happen. You know, the first questions are why, what's causing it? Is that a side effect of some medication she may be taking? Because if it's a medication side effect, that's a whole different story than if it's maybe an autoimmune condition. So medications, I can't do a lot about that, right? But you want to check those. For autoimmune or other inflammatory conditions, you would use Eon, glutathione, and X39.
The magic trio.
Yep. And I would put them near the eyes, maybe even on the inside of a sleep mask covering, so it's covering the eyes at night. You might, you know, anywhere around or under the eye.
Nice, nice. I love using a sleep mask. It's a new thing for me, and it's really wonderful. David recommends.
You could also put one right on the bridge of the nose, because that is close to where some tear ducts are.
Oh, okay, great. All right, thank you. Well, T Sparks is saying, does X39 take the place of other patchers, or does each type have its own unique use?
They're all unique. The only one that might be replaced by something else is carnosine, which is kind of covered if you're using both X39 and X49 together.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're not redundant.
Wonderful.
Good question.
Yeah, very good question. Kate wants to know, I'm experiencing congestion and wheezing in lungs with lots of coughing, plus sinus congestion for over a week. Which are the best patches and where should I put them?
There's been a lot of that going on. I had that last week myself. So I was walking around with glutathione here and here and an Eon here.
You look cute.
I looked great. So yeah, that also, if it's in your lungs, on the lung points right here, I would put a glutathione on each one.
Great.
So glutathione here, and you may go through a whole pack of glutathione in 1 week, and that's great.
Because you're going to feel better.
Yep.
It will help.
You'll be
Okay.
glad you did.
T Spark says, I have ringing in the ears. Any success treating this with patches?
A little bit. That's a tricky one also because there are many different causes. So again, I would come back to the same ones, glutathione and eon, but I would put them, you may put them right in front of the ear. You may put them behind on that mastoid bone or just underneath, right. Can you see right here? And give it time.
Okay, great.
And sleep.
So Rich is in the Philippines and she's asking, I have a friend who was bitten by her dog near her right ankle. It got infected after some time, so she had a minor surgery on it. Her wound healing is slow, though her sugar is monitored. I had her on Ice Wave for pain and X39 carnosine during the day and Eon at night. Any other recommendations or protocols?
I think that's a great recommendation. I would add X49. X49 is going to increase your collagen production even more than X39 alone. So I would, you might swap out X49 for carnosine because the 49 does increase your carnosine as well. So I would do that, and I would not hesitate to put a set of X39 and 49 on each side of that wound.
And
maybe, a glutathione in there as well.
Okay, thank you.
And if her blood sugar is being monitored and maybe circulation is poor, then I would, probably do two more things. I would use the SP6 above the inside left ankle, and that will help with a lot of metabolic balancing. And I would also use the energy enhancer patches, one on the bottom of each foot, right? Tan left, white right, on the kidney 1 point.
The powerful point.
That's right. So that energy enhancer can help increase the flow of energy and support circulation in both legs and feet.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Okay, Corey, I have a friend that's 31 years old who's been told that he may have liver disease and need a transplant. What patches would help avoid the surgery, and how long should they stay with the stack? Not sure about that, but yeah, what could help?
With the stack. Well, I have a really good friend in that exact situation. I'll tell you what I told her. I have her using glutathione and eon on her liver. So she's doing 2 of each. Your liver's right here on the right side. So from here around the side. So that's what I would do. Can it help avoid the surgery? I don't know. I have no idea how progressed that case is, but that certainly will help, along with the X39 for sure.
Okay.
And with liver disease, there are other nutritional things you can do. Of course, absolutely no alcohol, things that stress the liver, no bad fats, really clean up the diet. TUDCA, that person needs TUDCA, Robin.
TUDCA is amazing, you guys. So, if people want to have a consult with you, Dr. Barbara, I'm going to write in the chat. What number or email should they contact you at?
All right.
I'll write it in.
Actually post it. I just put it in there. info@drbarbarajennings.com.
Yeah, Dr. Barbara works with a lot of people on the phone and doing consults, and I will confess and say from experience, she's brilliant and really understands this vessel and what it needs to operate at its maximum. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute, aren't we? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Luis, which patches can be used for tingling sensation and pain and numbness in the feet? Sometimes the feet feel cold and sometimes they're hot.
So as I mentioned before, the energy enhancer patches on the bottom of each foot on the kidney 1 point. So you can just Google where the kidney 1 point is for placement. Right white, tan left. You can double those points or with Eon and glutathione if you want to. You could also put it on the top of the foot. You could place those above the inside ankle. Definitely you'd want to be using X39. I may place X39 on the sacrum, the top of the sacrum, like just below your L5 for that. And be sure you're drinking plenty of water. There's some nutrition things that you'd want to look at. Calcium, potassium, vitamin F.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was almost the same question. It was a similar but different. So, okay. I wanted to make sure I didn't ask twice. An overactive bladder. How would you treat that? That's from Anonymous.
Yeah. So again, though, there are different reasons that could be happening, right? It could be an infection. It could be a nervous system issue. So number one, you definitely want to go see a chiropractor and get adjusted. Your pelvis, your lumbar, your SI joints. For patches, I would use Eon because Eon, not only does it help modulate the immune system, but it does the same for the nervous system. So can help calm the nervous system.
Great. Great. So,
and X39, of course.
Of course. Of course. Always X39. Anything for undiagnosed tremors in a teenager that are constantly there?
Hard to say without knowing more about that.
Yeah.
But you can't go wrong with what I've been talking about. You can't go wrong with X39, Eon, and glutathione and use them consistently. I would use Eon at night, glutathione during the day, and X39, either one.
Great. Okay, and we're going to finish up with Ashlyn because we're after our time, and get your questions in before the bottom of the hour, you guys, because all these questions came in after the bottom of the hour. I have a friend who's getting a transplant surgery, didn't say which organ. Can she use Ice Wave after surgery, or should she wait? If so, how long?
Yes, you can. It's only the immune enhancing patches that you want to be careful with after a transplant surgery. So Ice Wave, no problem. Energy enhancer, no problem. I would, she could talk to the doctor about glutathione. Glutathione is probably going to be just fine.
Okay.
But yeah, that might be one to run past the doctor.
Right. Okay. And we're going to finish up with Rich. Is Eon okay for someone undergoing chemo?
Eon? I believe so. I've had patients undergoing chemo who did talk to their doctors about it, and that was okayed. So I would recommend the same thing. Talk to the doctor. Just, doctors, you never know what you're going to get. But in situations like that, it's good to be forthcoming and do what your treating doctor is going to support.
Right. It's a team process. So we are at the end of our call, and I know you have a special offer and announcement for everyone. And so please share, Dr. Barbara.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So I am going to be kicking off my detox program. So Robin, you were in our first group that I did as a group a year ago. So in a couple of weeks, we're kicking off another group. It's a long detox. It's a commitment, but there's really good reasons why a real detox needs time, right? We accumulate toxins through our whole life. It takes time to remove them all. We use different binders. There's no one binder that can grab and remove all types of toxins. Plus, we spend a month just preparing your body to do the work of detoxing. So I do it virtually, right? We meet every other Wednesday night, and it's a great program. And I get to do one of my favorite things every other week, which is teach you, teach you a lot of information that is, I believe, really valuable, and of course, guide you through the whole process.
So should people reach out to info, the email
Yes.
that you, okay. So
Yes,
it's
info@drbarbara.jennings.com. Don't spell out doctor, just Dr. Barbara Jennings.
Great.
info@drbarbara.jennings.com. And there's also a detox page on my website, and that's drbarbara.jennings.com. So you can find information there as well.
So I will just give a little testimonial and endorsement after being a student of yours. And after I finished that 4-month course, I got what I call an education of a lifetime. You know, I know that if anything's going wrong, first thing I want to do is get whatever's out of the way. And so we live in a toxic world, everyone. We're exposed to toxins from the water, the air, the food. It's everywhere. And, you know, and things we use. And Dr. Barbara showed us a lot of interesting information about where we pick up these toxins. And so many detox programs actually may access the toxins, but they don't always leave the body. Sometimes they find a new home because, as Dr. Barbara said, there may not be a binder that can attach to them and get them out of the body. And many times we haven't prepared the body to let go and eliminate these toxins. So the first part of the program is about opening up the vessels to let go. And so you won't have those horrible experiences. How'd I do?
Very well. You got to clear the drain first. And that's, and when we do that, you know, so many people are afraid of detoxing because they'll feel horrible. They'll feel lousy, but you won't. I mean, we prepare, when you prepare your body in the right sequence, in the right way, then you detox. It goes so much smoother, and you should be able to live your normal life and do this detox at the same time.
Beautiful. So I invite anyone who's interested to reach out to Dr. Barbara, because like I said, it was way more impactful on me than I ever imagined. And the education was profound. So I'm just so grateful for you sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your resources with our community, Dr. Barbara. We're so happy. So happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you, everyone.
I've got enough space for about 12 more people if anybody wants to do it.
Okay, 12 more, room for 12 more. So thank you, everyone, for taking the time this evening. Thank you, Dr. Barbara. Thank you, Gregory. If you're a guest this evening, this is a great call to bring guests to. If you're a guest, get back to the person who invited you and get started. There's no risk to use this technology. It comes with a 30-day risk-free guarantee. And we have a wonderful customer program. And if you're the kind of person that likes to share, we have a brand partner program that will reward you for sharing. So thank you, everyone, and good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.